Le Mans, the birthplace of the first ever Grand Prix in 1906, and ever since then, almost every form of motorsport has been here. Formula 1, 2 and 3, MotoGP, World Superbike, trucks, NASCAR, GTs, touring cars, Le Mans prototypes, sidecars, and of course, karting. We're here on the Karting International du Mans circuit, just a couple of 100 yards from the starting line of the Circuit de la Sarthe for the IAME International Finals, the IWF 2022, where the Davids will meet the Goliaths and race for glory against the best drivers in the world. 137 juniors, 158 seniors from all four corners of the globe, representing Australasia, Asia, Africa, the Americas, North and South, the Middle East, and all across Europe. It is the ultimate competition for IAME X30 racers, young and old, and after our brilliant Part 1 last week, when we had the Mini Master KA100s and ZIs, this week sees the big show. Junior and senior go to battle at Le Mans. Hello everybody, I'm Jake Sanderson. Great to be back with you once again. It's going to be a very exciting challenge and a very clear, exciting tussle for glory, as all of our contenders will have a very busy day at the office. We're in for a really exciting and absolutely spectacular spectacle. We're going to have a great showcase. All of the drivers just gearing themselves up for warm-up, and the X30 juniors are finishing off their final turn out on the circuit in what is a little bit of a greasy start today. A big rain shower yesterday evening after what had been 3 glorious days of sunshine has definitely thrown a little bit of a spanner into the works for the teams. The track is drying, but it's definitely not dry, which means it's going to be a very interesting and intriguing battle for supremacy here at Le Mans. All of the contenders gearing up, ready for a good show. We have a little bit of a rundown to give you after yesterday's extraordinary challenges out on the circuit. We've definitely had some exciting races yesterday evening to start the ball rolling. It was a very interesting and very exciting battle that we had in the first heats for each of our contenders, as they've obviously gone through the time qualifying. It was Evan Gilter that managed to come up with the ultimate pole position across the senior category. It was the Dutchman Sacha van Bosch who managed to come through for ultimate pole position in the junior category. But today, things are going to get very interesting, as it's very clear that even the pole position sitters are not going to have it too easy from the front end of the starting grid. It's been very exciting all the way through, and after yesterday's opening heats, well, the plot has already started to thicken. We're going to have a very intriguing run here today. Everybody's been very closely matched so far, so we get to talk about how things have played out in very close proximity and in a very interesting battle around the course so far. We're going to have some excitement to discuss all the way through today, but now we get to discuss things in fantastic fashion. Yesterday, X30 Senior Heat opened us up in qualifying Heat B versus C. It was the Israeli Ariel Elkin who came through in first position from Ana Milizia and Paul Alberto, then Raphael Dupont and Mathis Barb from Eduardo Villa, Reggie Dewey, Eddie Goldstein and Bart Pluch ahead of Aaron Walker in the top 10. A very exciting confrontation. Then D versus I saw Danny Caronini, last year's IWF champion in senior, take the victory from Alexandre Monod, Sebastiano Pavan, Hickey Calteren and Sebastian Hedin. Then Paul Charles from Augustus Lawrence, Bart Harrison, Matteo Giacardi and Jesper Sjoberg in the top 10. Some great duels all the way through that qualifying heat. Then we got to see Arthur Poulain come through in front of his French colleagues Adi Rattel and Xavier Diaz, with Sam Shaw in front of Sita van Meert and Iliano Couture, with Lucas Bjork, Charles Roussan, Isaac Valtonen and Yanis Antafos running through in position behind them. Then we had qualifying heat G versus H, and there was a big rain shower just beforehand that really made things quite entertaining. Across the line first was Yanis Steven Aidens, but sadly a front-fairing penalty meant that the win was eventually handed to Emil Tangard ahead of Ilari Pispanen, Yanis Steven Aidens, Emil Jelainen, Carly Atkins, Callum Bradshaw, Clement Autran, Harry Platten, Kimi Girone and Francois Delati in a race that saw several contenders unfortunately excluded from the rankings after various difficulties going into the race battles. It was a very tricky situation, with several drivers contravening the violation against Article 2.19. So we'll have to go into details of that a little bit later on, because obviously that's pretty technical. Then we had the juniors, qualifying heat A versus B, came out onto the circuit, the first race of our juniors. And that saw a British 1-2-3 for Macaulay Bishop in front of Brandon Carr and Gabriel Stilp. Matis Karniak in front of Ricardo Cirelli and Zach Green. Then Thibaut Ramakas, Henry Jocelyn, Sacha Van Badbosch and Clovis Nougarade were in the mix there in their top 10. Qualifying heat C versus D came out next. That saw Pacom Weisenberger, the Frenchman, open his account with a victory in front of Aaron Garcia and Jack Nettleship. Then Alex O'Grady, Alphonse Mittenen and Adam Rahali ahead of Ethan Jeff Hall, who sadly was given a 5-second penalty. Noah Wolf, Aaron Ferrazzano and Colin Cronin in the top 10. And then we had qualifying heat F versus H. That saw Finn McLaughlin take the win in front of Cahal Clark and Fred Green. Jack Buckley in fourth ahead of Leo Robertson, then Freddie Lloyd, Dylan Visser, Luca Horton, Vilma Svan, Fernando Luque and Angelo Melli in the top 10. And then finally, we got to see the last race of the day yesterday evening, which was qualifying heat for groups E versus G in junior. That saw Sebastian Mins ahead of Maxime Verbruge, Noah Montero, Morgan Moore and Hugo Herouin. The top 10 rounded out by Lewis Bird, Emmanuel Quintieri, Tyron Kinnard, Javier Herrera, and the Dutch driver from Japan, Kodai Yoshida. I say Dutch driver from Japan because he races under a Dutch license. So the contenders are ready for battle once again here at Le Mans.